It's perfect. Hello beautiful people, Yasmin here. Welcome to Juliet Kitchen. Today you're in for an amazing treat. I am sharing with you my duck breast recipe with a chunky lobster sauce. It's absolutely delicious. It's very simple to pull together. So I do hope that you'll stick around long enough to see how I make it. While you stick around, don't be shy. Hit that subscribe button. It's much appreciated. Okay, beautiful people, this duck recipe is absolutely simple. So to get started, I have looked at these beautiful duck breasts. These are about 6 ounces each. This is a Muscovy duck. So as you can see, the meat looks a lot redder, sort of mirror beef, if you will. And the skin is not as thick. So today I won't put any scores on the skin. Typically, if I'm using a Moulard duck, the skin is thicker. I would put a few scores because the scores help to release a lot more of the fat. Okay, so 4 pieces of duck breast. This is about 24 ounce total. And then I need some salt and fresh ground black pepper. You use salt and black pepper to your liking. For this amount of breast, I'm using 1 teaspoon sea salt and 3/4 teaspoon fresh ground black pepper. So I have a pan here. This is a 6-quart pan. You can use a non-stick if you want, but I find this really tells me a lot when I use this particular pan that's not a non-stick. I am going to be putting these breasts right into the pan, and then I'm going to turn the stove on. No seasoning to begin with. Okay, beautiful people, the duck breasts are all ready for the stove top. So I'm going to go get this on the stove. I'm gonna cook it on medium-low heat for about 20 minutes or so, if you can see that. What's going to happen with this breast, it's going to cook slowly to release the fat from the skin. The duck skin will stick to the pan, and also it gives it a crispy skin, which I like. So for now, it's just going to do its thing. Okay, so it's about 3 minutes into the cooking process, and as you can see here, the duck fat is starting to render. And you see a little bit of bubble. Ooh, I gotta be careful. A little bit of bubble, that's from any residence of liquid that had remained in the breast. So you want to try to get the breast as dry as possible, but you are going to have eventually where perhaps there's just a slight amount of liquid in it. So it'll continue to render. Okay, we're about 10 minutes into the cooking process, and as you can see, there's more duck fat being rendered, so it's going to continue to cook. Okay, so the duck is coming up. It's under 30 seconds remaining, so it should hopefully release from the bottom of the pan with all of the fat, or a lot of the fat rendered. So I'm going to season it with the salt and black pepper, and then I'm going to try to get just a little bit of sear on the meat side. Okay, there goes the timer, so let's see here. Wow. Give it a little nudge. There you go. It should flip nicely. Look at that. Actually, I forgot to season it, so let's do this. I have salt and fresh ground black pepper here. You definitely want to season the breast before flipping it to the breast meaty side. I like to cook the meat side for about 2 minutes. Wow. I like to sprinkle some extra salt and pepper on the skin. Okay, our 2 minutes are up. 2 minutes later, flip the breast back to the skin side down and cook for about 20 to 30 seconds. Remove the breast and reserve 1 to 2 tablespoons of the fat. So this is going to rest for about 10 minutes or so before I slice it. Okay, beautiful people, so to go with the duck, I am making a lobster sauce with these beautiful lobster tails that I've cut into bite-sized chunks, about 1 inch each. These are 3 lobster tails, about 6 ounces each. I am using 1 shallot that has been finely diced. Fresh cloves of garlic. These are 2 fresh cloves of garlic that I've used my garlic press to crush it. I have here fresh thyme leaves. This is about 2 teaspoons. Fresh dill. This is 1 tablespoon. And then for the spices, turmeric. I'm using 1 teaspoon turmeric, 1 teaspoon Old Bay seasoning, and then freshly ground black pepper and sea salt. Half a teaspoon of each. White wine. This is a Chardonnay white wine. You always want to try to use drinkable wine. I am also going to be using some of the fat to cook the lobster. So let's season the lobster. I use my hands, but you could certainly use a spoon. Okay, so I've turned on the stove on medium heat, and I've kept 1 tablespoon or so of the duck fat. Okay, so I'm going to now add my shallots. Give it a good stir and cook for about 1 minute. And now what I want to do is add the fresh garlic, the fresh thyme, and the fresh dill. Okay, you want to give it a good stir, and then I'm going to allow this to cook for another 30 seconds to a minute. Okay, so I'm going to add in my lobster tails now. And I'm also going to turn up the stove to medium high. And I'm going to let this cook. Okay, so it's been about 2 minutes, so I'm just going to use a kitchen thong to flip these around. These lobster tails cook rather quickly because they're cut into smaller chunks. Okay, so it's cooked for another 2 minutes, so I am now going to add the wine. You want to scrape up any of the brown bits. Okay, so I'm going to reduce that to about half. You could certainly add some butter if you'd like to thicken up the sauce. Okay, the sauce is looking pretty good and the wine has reduced. It's beautiful. I'm going to turn off the stove here. Slice the duck to your desired size and serve with the lobster sauce. Okay, beautiful people, you guys know what time it is. My favorite time, which is tasting. Wow, the flavor in the duck, it was just salt and pepper, but when you get some of that beautiful lobster sauce on it, it tastes absolutely perfect. The duck was cooked more of a medium texture because it was thinner, but you really do need to cook it long enough to render down the fat. Let's try the lobster. The flavors go perfectly together. The lobster is still very tender, not overcooked at all. You get a little bit of the hint of the Chardonnay wine. It's so perfect. So I do hope that you'll take the time to try this recipe and enjoy it as much as we do around here. Until next time, happy cooking!